You know, in Hollywood, it feels like every photo, every social media like, and even every friendship can be part of some huge, carefully crafted story. Well, today, we're going to try and peel back a few of those layers to see what might really be hiding just beneath the surface.
So, what are we getting into exactly? We're diving headfirst into a really fascinating collection of celebrity blind items. We're going to analyze the public images, the narratives that are being built around some of Hollywood's biggest names. We're talking about everything, from their super tangled relationships to their perfectly, meticulously curated online lives.
Okay, first up, we've got a story that honestly seems like it will never ever end. It's the public drama involving Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, and of course his famous ex, Selena Gomez. This is truly a modern saga, and it's all being played out for millions of us to see on social media.
And it all really kicks into high gear with this just wild blind item. The source suggests it's about Justin Bieber, and let me tell you, the internet went crazy. The immediate question people were asking wasn't just if Hailey was wearing Selena's old clothes, but why would Justin even have them anymore? It just fueled all this speculation that maybe there's a lingering obsession there.
But you know, it goes so much deeper than a single rumor. The whole thing just escalates through these very public, very deliberate social media moves. So first, Justin's account is seen liking this years-old comment, calling him and Selena soulmates. Then, almost in response, Hailey posts a cryptic video about women tolerating abuse in relationships. When a content creator points this out and analyzes it, Hailey's team allegedly sends them a cease and desist letter to shut down the conversation. And then finally, Hailey likes a throwback photo with a male friend, which immediately sparks these revenge rumors until it's revealed the friend is openly gay. It just goes to show how fast these false stories can catch fire.
So when you lay it all out like this, you start to see a really clear contrast in how they allegedly handle things. The source pretty much frames Justin's actions, liking old Selena content, as a direct way of trolling his own wife. Hailey's reactions, on the other hand, are way more indirect. We're talking cryptic messages, followed by these pretty serious legal threats. It makes the source ask a really powerful question. Isn't this public social media game played out for millions a form of abuse in itself? It's a messy and frankly a seemingly unhealthy dynamic that's on full display for everyone to see.
Okay, so let's move on. We're going to see how this all builds into our next story, which shifts from that new age social media drama to a much more classic Hollywood tale. Rumored trouble in paradise for a couple that, for a long time, seemed absolutely perfect. Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. And this story, wow, it ignites with an absolutely shocking blind item. The source claims this is about Blake and Gwen, alleging that he cheated and brought home an STD. This accusation, the source suggests, is the real explosive reason that rumors of a split have been swirling for months, and it's reportedly left Gwen absolutely furious and seriously considering divorce.
So beyond that bombshell of a blind item, there are other signs that people who watch this stuff closely are pointing to. For one, the couple has been MIA from red carpets for over a year. Insiders are reportedly claiming they've just drifted apart. But honestly, the most fascinating detail comes from an observer who has a background in PR and styling. They pointed out that when Gwen was recently seen by herself, she was wearing her wedding ring, but it was buried among other much louder rings. And the theory? This is a classic PR move to confuse the public when you're not quite ready to announce a separation. It's subtle, for sure, but a really telling piece of visual misdirection.
You know, this brings us to a theme that really connects all of these stories we're talking about today. And that's the constant, exhausting battle for authenticity in our online world and the immense pressure celebrities are under to manufacture a totally perfect image.
This next part perfectly illustrates two very different approaches to manufacturing that perfection. On one side, you have the manipulation of pure numbers. A blind item alleges that Ice Spice uses bots to inflate her song's views. I mean, get this, it notes a previous video jumped from 80,000 to 6 million views in just 5 minutes. Then, on the other side, you have the manipulation of the body itself. Madison Beer is accused of heavily retouching her photos to create this perfect hourglass figure that, the source claims, she just doesn't have in real life.
So what's the real-world consequence of all this? Who does it really hurt? Well, the source points to this exact comment from a fan. You have these impressionable followers comparing themselves to an impossible, digitally created standard. And what makes this especially frustrating, according to the source, is the huge contradiction here. Madison has spoken out publicly about body positivity, and there's even an old clip of her just vehemently denying she photoshops her pictures. So it's this real clash between her public message and her alleged private action.
Okay, let's move to our final story. This one shifts away from online personas and gets into the really complex, real-world entanglements of celebrity friendships, especially when they intersect with highly controversial organizations.
So the source lays out this really curious connection that involves Hilary Duff. She has a very close 15-year friendship with Alana Masterson. Now, Alana is a high-ranking Scientologist and also the sister of the convicted rapist Danny Masterson. A core policy in Scientology is something called disconnection, which basically forces members to cut all ties with non-members. So, the central question here is pretty obvious. How can this friendship even exist? The source speculates that Scientology might be bending its own rules, which is something it's often alleged to do for its big celebrity members.
But this is where the story takes a much darker turn. The source highlights this absolutely harrowing court testimony from one of Danny Masterson's victims. She described having a panic attack during the trial and running to the restroom. She said that while she was in a stall, the door opened and in walked Alana Masterson, Hilary Duff's best friend, reportedly smiling from ear to ear. The victim, who was also raised in Scientology, testified that she felt it was a very deliberate act of intimidation.
And this really brings everything into sharp focus. Given Alana's unwavering support for her brother and her alleged actions in that courthouse, Hilary Duff's continued, very public friendship with her raises some incredibly difficult questions. It's about personal loyalty versus association with deeply problematic behavior. I mean, where do you even draw the line?
So after all of that, what's the big takeaway here? Well, these stories, whether you think they're just gossip or something more, they definitely reveal the immense pressure public figures are under to control their own narratives. But, they also reveal something about us, the audience. As that line between public performance and private reality gets blurrier and blurrier, the real question isn't just what they're hiding, it's what are we looking for when we decide to peek behind the curtain.